Hello and welcome. This is the Citroen DS Plus, and this is one of the latest cars added to Gran Turismo 7. Now don't be fooled by its slick aerodynamic looks. This car is incredibly slow. This car standard produces 103 brake horsepower, making this the slowest car added to Gran Turismo 7. Even with this being said, the car is still able to do 147 kilometers per hour at the end of the straight at Kyoto Driving Park. However, it isn't that good in corners either. Now the car is front wheel drive, but in a vehicle this slow, you don't actually figure that out because sometimes you don't even know if it's front wheel drive or rear wheel drive. Now needless to say, this car you can take flat out around corners. Now the suspension in its standard state is very soft, it's very bouncy, it's very period correct. And we see the lack of power come into play once more as we just came over the slight incline of that hill. Now one thing that I must appreciate about the Citroen, you can really just chuck it in and just keep your foot flat to the ground because you're gonna make it around the turn. Now I'm not gonna keep boring you with this gameplay because I'm gonna be honest with you, it's not exciting, it's not exhilarating. The car when it is standard, it is incredibly slow, its handling is shocking, but that's the thing, this car was not made to go around a racetrack quickly. It was supposed to take the missus from the farm to church and back. That's it. This car was not meant to set groundbreaking standards in any way, shape or form. It's supposed to be slow. But what if you don't want this car to be slow and you actually want something exciting and really fun to drive? Now there's actually quite a few upgrades that you can do to this car in the tuning shop. You can actually give it a high RPM turbocharger and boost this car's power through the roof. Now you can actually take that power and double it. And after spending almost 200,000 credits, you will see that your Citroen will now produce 259 brake horsepower and weigh just over 1000 kgs. Now if we look at those power figures compared to other vehicles, it's nothing really to write home about. However, in the little Pallas, it is more than enough because with the car being lightweight, front wheel drive and having this amount of power, I say this is the perfect place for it. Because if the car had more power, the understeer would be immensely worse. Now there is a bit of understeer, but if you watch, you can see that the rear end slides out, which honestly I was not prepared for. Now I have gone in and played with the suspension and just tweaked it to make it a bit more firm to help us go around corners a lot faster. And when I tell you that just these upgrades and slight bit of tuning has completely revolutionized this car's overall handling. The car is actually good around corners. It has decent speed. It takes this very underwhelming, underperforming vehicle and makes it something actually usable. It makes it a mediocre vehicle. Okay, mediocre is a bit of a strong word for it, but it makes it so much better than what it started out as, and I'm actually quite pleased about that. Now as I said, if there was more power, yes, on the straight lines it would be a lot more fun, but when it comes to corners, this thing would be absolutely terrible. Where the car is right now, this car takes corners as a dream. And the funny thing is, you can actually get this vehicle to slide. It is front wheel drive, but you can still get some good slides out of it. I'm gonna try and find a clip from Reddit because I've seen someone drifting the Citroen, and it's one of the funniest things that you'll see. But it is such a quirky vehicle, plus if you start getting into the history of this car, then you will learn that this car was exceptionally well at rallying. So to see if it's any good in Gran Turismo 7, we had to do one thing, and that's to go and slap some dirt tires on and go and throw it around one of the 2 dirt circuits in the game. So what made this standard DS so incredibly good off-road was its suspension. It used an innovative system that made the cars ride so incredibly well that it was often compared to a magic carpet. Now the car used a hydro-pneumatic system to just help level the car when going over bumps, and that system really helped out when we see that back in the time period when this car was produced in France, a lot of people were still working and living on farms. So as I said earlier, taking farmers' wives from home to church and back and delivering just whatever goods they needed, this car provided that service. Now when it came to rallying, this car actually dominated at the same time period as the original Mini Cooper. Now these cars were not very powerful, however they were incredibly good, and the car's suspension really did help it out on rally stages, because with the suspension being able to handle the bumps and Citroen having knowledge of, okay, this is how we get over tough terrain incredibly well, it allowed the drivers to push it as hard as possible to complete the stage as fast as possible. Now I've actually seen people compare the ride heights of these to your modern day Rolls Royces, as how this car is just able to absorb bumps and just keep going. And it's actually incredible to think of that we had this technology and people were trying out these new things back in 1970. The fact that this little Citroen probably handled bumps better than your new modern Toyotas, VWs and so forth is actually, it's fun to think about. But as I said, this car, you can push it as hard as possible on the dirt circuits. With it being front wheel drive, it doesn't slide out as much as your Group B rally cars. It's actually quite rapid. I feel that it's better suited off-road than on any other racing circuits. This car is very responsive when it comes to you pointed in a direction. It turns incredibly well. Now the problem that I suffered when using this, I was using an automatic transmission. I wasn't playing on manual, and it caused the car to redline a lot when it needed to shift, and that's what actually slowed me down. But what's incredible is that this car sets a 1 minute and 24-second lap around the circuit, and I went around the same circuit in a Group B Audi Quattro Pikes Peak Edition in a 1 minute 14 seconds, which just goes to show you how fast this Citroen actually is. Only being slower than the Audi by 10 seconds is not much at all. If we compare power, all-wheel drive system, downforce, the little Citroen is a mighty strong competitor. So if you are gonna use this car, or if you do have it, try it out off-road and you will see a whole different side to it. So with all this being said, if you guys did enjoy this video, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe for more Gran Turismo 7 content, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.